Hey ballers, welcome to These Balls Could Talk, the podcast that would gladly take the annual $5 million that Josh Allen has won his contract. So this is Mark along with John and our producer Pete. We're getting ready to discuss the latest in sports, tech, and pop culture. If you like what you hear or see, please like us or hit that subscribe button, or as I like to say, tickle that little bell.
Yes, you do.
We welcome back to the podcast one of the show's favorites, Jefim Piekarz. What's going on, Jefim?
Hey, gents, how are you? It's been a while.
Jefim Christopher
Hello.
Piekarz.
Yeah.
You can see we're donning our baseball team's gear. Pete doesn't really have a team, so
I
he's
have no
excused.
baseball team.
There's baseball season, bitches.
Opening
That's why I'm
day.
wearing
boys.
this.
Opening day was today. That's
Yes.
right.
I'm wearing this
John,
generic
I mean the
real
Upstate
opening
and Chill
day.
shirt.
John, how you been?
How have I been? Pretty good, I guess. All things considered. What happened? Ran a pretty big meeting for work yesterday, and didn't really do anything fun tonight. We went to an open house for the high school that I think I want to send Jamie to, which was pretty good. And that took forever because I'm me everywhere I go, especially when I'm trying to intimidate high school students, I guess. I just ask a lot of questions.
Why are you such
with
a
these
bully,
things,
John?
And like they just look at me and they're like, I'm like, but you're here to answer my questions, and no one's asking any, and I love asking questions, and so I do. And yeah, Yankees won.
Yankees
Yankees
did
won.
win.
Which was very good. Devin Williams got his first of a record-breaking saves year. Knock on wood. Cody Barnes got an RBI.
One down, 161 to go, right?
Austin Wells got an RBI. He hit a leadoff home run. It was a good day in the Bronx. Good day.
There you go.
How are you, Mark?
Were you guys at home? Were you guys at home, and who did you face?
We faced the Brewers at home. I don't
Okay.
know why. They were like interleague opening day games all
Yeah.
throughout this.
Every
baseball.
single day has an interleague game now because there's 15 teams in both AL and NL.
That's silly.
That,
I
doesn't
just
it
think they
feel
want-
dirty.
I
Doesn't
just
it
think
feel
they wanted
wrong?
Devin. I think they just wanted Devin Williams to beat the shit out of his old team. And that was kind of fun.
That's
It
fair.
was kind of fun.
Yeah.
So the Red Sox win, Mark?
Red Sox did win today. They won. It wasn't a walk-off because they were in Texas. They beat the Rangers 5-2 on a 3-run home run in the 9th inning. Good times. I mean, the Red Sox are a potential sneaky team this year. We'll see what happens, and we may or may not be talking
everything
about
I'm
that a little later.
Everything I am reading has them doing very well. Especially if the Yankees fall apart, which we very well might.
One of the shows I was watching today in preparation for this show said that a hot take was that the Red Sox would not only win the AL, but they would face the Mets in the World Series.
Wow.
Wow. Okay.
Well, that leads us to our final question. Jeffem, did the Mets win today?
The Mets did not win today. The Mets were also in Texas today.
Jeff, what
Unfortunately,
happened?
facing the other team. It would appear Juan Soto needs a little more spring training. He needs a little more tune-up. Because we get into the 9th inning, 2 on
First
and
third.
3-1 and first and third, and here we got Juan Soto up there striking out. So that was to finish the game. That sucked.
on just a garbage ball slider.
It was terrible watching that. And we also had the nice thing was we had John's closer from last year starting the game for us today.
That's true.
That was great.
Oh, wow.
That was really great. Oh, if you can tell, I'm really, really excited about the adjective this season's going to call.
How can we met the season up?
Yeah.
When you spend
Pete, how you
$860 million
been?
on one guy.
Yeah.
Pete, how you been? Aside from working insane hours.
I mean, that's pretty much it. I don't get to see my kid when this
All right,
is
moving
crazy.
on.
So that's, that's But Liam has been a lot of fun, though. He's been wanting to go outside all the time now. So we're teaching him a lot of that.
It's getting really nice out there.
Yep, he's the point where every morning if the closet's open, he'll go and pick up his sneakers and walk over to the garage door with him and like do, and then he'll go back, he'll grab my shoes and walk over with those. I was like, oh, thank you. He learned how to open the pantry door, so now he's just getting into everything.
Childproof locks.
Yeah, so it's one of those accordion style ones.
Mm-hmm.
So he reached way up, grabbed it, opened it, and then he's like rummaging around in there, and then he looks up and he sees the giant OXO container of Cheerios, and he's like,
Yes.
And he just learned
grabs
a
the
new
whole-
thing.
Yeah, just he's like, so many Cheerios. It's like, uh-oh. There's Jamie. Speaking of kids.
You want to hear something
Jamie.
funny? You want to hear something funny? So my dog and my cat, they have learned how to open up the drawer that has my trash in it. So I actually have to
Oh,
get
no.
childproof locks
For your dogs.
for my dog and my cat.
That's funny.
Both of them can open it up, not just
What?
one, both.
At least they don't
And
know
I
how to
actually
open
watched my
doors.
cat do it. My cat is so smart when it comes to food. He just figures out how to be like open doors and unlock things and whatnot, especially when it comes to food.
Damn.
It's actually kind of amazing.
Now, the key is, Mark, are they working together to do it?
No. In fact, a little while ago, my cat swatted my dog, and unfortunately, his ear was bleeding
Ooh.
for a little bit.
That's too
Yeah,
bad.
Jesus. Okay, so they
they
don't
were
get
fighting
along?
over. They were fighting over Dad's chicken wings.
That's elder abuse. Your dog is very old.
And,
My
real quick,
my cat is also very old.
shout out to my dad. It's his birthday today.
Happy birthday!
Hey,
Adam.
happy
Which
birthday!
I didn't get a
Ed.
chance
birthday.
That's all we can
Really
play
like
for
that a lot,
copyright
man.
reasons.
What did you say, John?
Wait, what?
You really like the soundboard, man.
I especially love that one. But you gotta admit it, you love that one too.
Dude, it's fun.
All right. Hey everyone, what did the hot cocoa say to the marshmallow?
Huh?
Come on in, I'll warm you up. It's time for warm up your balls.
Sneaky.
As a reminder, Pete will spin the wheel that will randomly select a question that our guest will answer. Are you ready, Pete?
Once I switch to the correct window in my browser, yes. Okay. Here we go. The wheel is
I'm on the
spinning.
spot here.
All right. Jefim, you have first dibs on these answers. What upcoming movie are you most excited to see?
Oh, this is easy. Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolts.
Duh, yeah, obviously.
Thunderbolt.
I mean, who's not excited about that?
Oh,
That
why don't we have a thunderbolt
Amazing.
like
Looks really good.
sound?
Yeah.
It's really very good. The only
I mean,
way to
you
make
li-
a Marvel movie better is put two actors with really ridiculous Russian accents in them.
Which, I mean, check. Done.
Right. Done.
Oh my God.
Done.
So, like, they
Awesome.
took the two favorite characters from Black Widow, right? They've now added Winter Soldier, another one of my favorites. And they've put in pretty much Marvel Evil Superman. And you've got a formula for awesome.
So,
Sweet.
Sentry, and this is canon. Sentry has an evil alter ego, which is the villain in this movie called Void, and that's in the trailer. He just flattens people into their shadows and brings darkness onto New York City. So
Whoa.
he is an Avengers level threat.
Sounds dangerous.
Yeah, but there's no
Pretty
Avengers, so there's just the Thunderbolts.
There's just the punchy.
Now, do we think that Tulsi Gabbard looks a little too much like Valentina? I was thinking about that with the news this week.
Oh my God.
Wow.
I did not actually think about that until you just mentioned it.
Okay.
Kind of, yeah.
That is frightening. You are correct.
That is-
John.
That is-
I had not even thought
Very
about
scary.
Okay.
And I
Oh,
don't
wow.
know who is modeled after who, though Valentina was written, I don't know, 15 years ago. So
that. Yeah.
I'm looking
So
at
you're
the.
saying Tulsi's playing her best Valentina? Is that what's going on?
So who?
Alright.
Because it's probably everybody's like movie we're most excited to see. There's a lot of members of the Thunderbolts that have been to and fro. Like, who's going to be in the movie? Because it's obviously not this entire list.
okay, so I know
No.
you just Googled the Thunderbolts. The Thunderbolts is in multiple teams. There have
Yeah.
been multiple Thunderbolts in
I was
Marvel
going to
canon.
say it's probably like the
This
X-Men where you have people coming in and out.
It's like
This
Yeah.
Thunderbolts is Red Guardian, the new Black Widow, Yelena Belova,
Mhm.
Ghost, Ghost is a pretty cool character.
Okay.
Ghost in the MCU is just the villain in one of the stupid Ant-Man movies.
Oh, I remember
US
that. Yeah.
Quantum
US
Mania.
Agent,
Yep.
U.S. Agent.
Not Quantum Mania. I'm
Mania.
sorry.
The one before
The
that
second
one,
one.
too.
Yeah, Ant-Man and Wasp.
the Wasp. Yeah.
Yes.
US
Yeah,
Agent.
so- okay.
And then Winter Soldier is leading them. Bucky Barnes is.
Okay.
And so
Yeah.
literally there's a point in the movie where there's this giant, invincible, light-bending supervillain. And they're like, do we all just shoot and punch things? They're like,
I mean, yeah, pretty
that's what we
much.
do. we all just shoot and punch things. So
You got to say that in a Russian accent, though, John.
We all just
shoot and punch
things.
So
Yes.
it looks fantastic, and like I said, I think I don't know last episode, we I think probably Yelena Belova and Florence Pugh are probably maybe the best part of Phase 4, or easily one of the top parts of Phase 4. I think she's incredibly compelling. And
Her comedic timing is great too.
well, and I love Black Widow. Their timing,
Yeah.
Harbor's very funny.
Mhm.
When David Harbour got the MCU role, and they were like, "All right, like I'm gonna get into real good shape, and I'm gonna lose a bunch of weight," and they're like, "Actually, David,
don't.
you're
Yeah.
fine."
Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, no, stay exactly like you are.
You know
You're
what?
good.
Have some more beer every day.
This
be
is the
fine.
vision, sir. This is what we want.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be awesome, and I'm really excited. And I don't know maybe if they're jumping the shark, but they're using this momentum that they're building to build into Avengers Doomsday.
They
There was a
did.
5-hour Marvel webcast yesterday to release the 19 cast members they're bringing back.
Oh,
for
yeah.
Avengers
So many
Doomsday,
cast members.
Holy criminy.
which includes like the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man and all of the Fantastic Four and the Channing Tatum Gambit plus all the
Yes.
Fox
Ooh.
original X-Men.
Yep.
They're bringing back what's his face from Traitors for Nightcrawler. Alan Cummings is coming back to reprise Nightcrawler. Like
Nice.
the movie is going to be.
I really liked Alan Cumming actually.
That's
in,
super cool.
In the X2.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. So
I was excited about that too. I remember he did a good job.
I'm not sure how I feel about Sir Patrick and Ian McKellen coming back as Professor X, and
Yeah,
then,
they're
Well,
really old
I
now.
feel like they're really very conscious about mixing the two worlds in canon. So I think
You're
they're
right.
putting them up.
You're right. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll find out.
I don't know.
Anyway.
They are both pretty old.
That is
I'm worried about
intriguing.
it too, Mark.
Yeah.
We spent a lot of time on this question.
Okay, next
Can we do
question.
another one?
We can
I
do
just
one
realized
more.
I forgot to start my clock. John, I hope you
didn't start my
were
timer
running our
anyway.
clock.
We have
All right.
6
start
minutes
the
on the
clock.
adjusted
Alright.
timer, and it's a Jefim episode.
This is another movie
So-
It
question.
is a Jefim episode.
Do we wanna-
the average
Sweet.
Jefim episode is 2 hours.
I'm going to use my
Excellent.
prerogative and respin.
No movie questions.
Okay, this is fun. This is more fun. What's the weirdest thing you believed as a child?
Whoa. Okay.
That's a deep quote. Like, where did that one come from?
Wow. I don't know.
No pressure.
The weirdest thing I believed as a child.
Yes.
Or how about a weird dream that you remember?
There's something, something weird or trippy from childhood. It could be a
Weird
weird
or trippy from
experience too.
childhood. See, it's too. I'm afraid to tell us when it's deep. I have a trippy experience, but it was not like it was not for a good reason.
Oh,
But all right, so I'll tell it. I was at
friends here.
a friend's. I was at a friend's birthday party. I don't know how old I was. I think I was like in kindergarten. I was like 5, I want to say.
okay.
And they had a pool with a deep end,
Ooh,
and I did not know how to swim. So I was in this shallow end. We were playing around, and then I was like, "Oh, let me just walk towards the deep end and see what happens." And in his pool, it was like a dramatic drop.
oh
So
boy.
all of a sudden, I couldn't touch bottom, and I couldn't swim, and there were no adults around. So I'm calling this out because the trippy
Damn.
experience was like I did almost drown, but I like remember like it was very weird being underwater, like looking up, not being able to like get to the surface, and I could almost like kind of feel myself leaving myself. It was the weirdest experience
Whoa.
like of my life.
Like you were like,
And then
consciousness
like
was
all of
starting
a
to
sudden,
drift.
this girl from my class, her name was Erica Sang. She jumped in, grabbed my hand, and pulled me to the side. And then it was like it was the weirdest thing. It's like I got sucked back into my body. It was freaking.
You had an
weird as
outer
hell.
body experience.
Whoa,
Yeah.
that's trippy.
I don't know if I've ever told you guys that, but yeah, that was probably.
I don't remember that story. Holy
the-
cow.
That was probably the weirdest experience of my life.
What is that in Doctor Strange? Your astral self?
Yeah.
Astral projection, which is a
astral-
real thing.
astral projection.
A real fake thing or whatever.
Okay. Yeah. It was my astral, personality or something, but it was that was really freaky. I still remember it. It's very crazy.
That's wild, dude.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
I mean, I have a near-death childhood experience. I've watched a lot of those.
You do have a near-death child experience.
Do you know this one? All right, so the one that I think probably was supposed to get me, like Final Destination style even, was I was at my oldest sister's house, her apartment, which was on like the 10th floor, like pretty high. And she was somewhere in her 20s. I was little. And I was just being like a 6-year-old boy or something. And I was walking on, remember when you used to like balance beam on the sides of couches? That thing, like
I still do that.
Walk on the couches. I used to walk around. I used to like, oh, you fall on the couch, it's not a big deal. Well, her couch abutted a window, big windows, really tall. Like she lived in Greenwich, so big, tall Greenwich building, big, tall picture window.
What floor was this?
Like the 10th or the 12th,
okay,
high enough
high
that
up.
it would have been a problem. High, and I fell, but there were like blinds kind of in front of all the windows. Well, little for me to know, as a dumbass 6-year-old, her window was entirely opened. Entirely.
Oh no! No!
I fell, and I was, in my memory, and I'm not sure if I'm exaggerating, at least half out the window. And my legs, I remember, were like, my feet were down and like on the couch, and I looked down and I was like, well, that's it, right? And I just pulled myself back in, and she didn't even realize.
Oh,
Didn't even realize.
Oh, wow!
Yeah. So
Oh my gosh!
that happened. Don, if you're listening,
when did people finally? Yeah, when did people realize that you were that happened?
When I started telling them, I was, I was pretty precocious for elementary school. And
Sounds like
you're like, yeah, I almost did this thing. You're like, oh, really? Well, I never went there again.
Jeez. I will say some weird things I did believe as a child, which I guess are not weird, but I was into astronomy at a very, very young age. And so a lot of the stuff, like, I don't think I quite had the handle on geologic time scales yet. So when I started hearing about stuff where like the sun will expand to a red giant, or like a black hole is out there, like I just had all these fears that like this crazy cosmological scale stuff is going to happen and I was going to get caught in it. And I remember one time this kid tricked me in like, I don't know, first grade or something, or second grade, is like that he had this piece of the sun or something that had fallen to earth, and it was like slowly like growing and expanding. It would eventually become a new sun. I don't know. Some pretty weird stuff. I was young and impressionable, but also with like just enough knowledge to be dangerous.
I got a good one, but this wasn't for me. This was actually for my sister. She may have been, I don't know, 8, 9, or 10 years old. This was one Easter, and my dad had supposedly dressed up as the Easter Bunny. I don't remember this, so I don't really recall any of this. But my sister kind of knew that it was my dad, and I guess there was something that my dad like left the room or went around a corner, and then all of a sudden my dad appeared. And my sister was just befuddled. So for a while, I think my sister really thought my dad was the Easter Bunny, or something like that. It was.
You never see them in the same room at the same time.
To this day, she still has no idea how my dad or the Easter Bunny did that day.
That's pretty impressive.
So what I'm hearing is Mark's dad is actually the Easter Bunny.
Actually, I'm pretty sure my dad is Santa Claus. He looks just like Santa Claus now.
It does exist. Like the M&M's commercial. Yeah. They do exist.
So the funny, this is another one that's not about us, but Pete and I's Pete and I's mother-in-law.
Say you don't have the same wife.
No. Pete and I's mother-in-law used to tell the girls that she was 10 years younger than she actually was. And she told them this for like a really long time, like way too long.
Wow.
And so one time, Melanie was 12, something like that, and she went into like a dance class, and they're like, so how old is everyone's mother? And Melanie's like 25, and they're like, sweetie, your mother's not 25.
Wait, what kind of dance class is this that comes up though?
That is a little bit of a random
Melanie
question,
can tell the story better, but
that's pretty funny.
All right, do we have time for one more?
We do not. I gave us extra time, which we are over.
Damn.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
That's
okay, Pete.
We got to talk about Thunderbolts for a while, so that was cool.
I don't have a Marvel question,
it's still your turn.
Which I was sad about.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
proud of
so
you, John.
well there we go. We fit it in.
We need a better intro for Pete's segment.
Well,
Yeah,
Pete for a while was doing his own intro. That's why I don't really do one anymore.
Oh, yeah, okay. And now it's time for what really grinds my balls. So, yeah. So everybody, I am coming off a gauntlet of long work hours because let's zoom out a little bit to what the VFX industry is like. Combine a extremely low profit margin with extremely high volume and fast turnaround, the constant threat of studios in India doing things more efficiently, although we outsource to a lot of them.
I feel like we need some epic music in the background.
And AI trying to take over everybody's jobs, coupled with the crazy, sometimes objective, sometimes subjective whims and wills of crazy directors who are artistic geniuses, but also drive us insane and don't keep to any schedules themselves, yet demand all of your work be done exactly when they want it and not a second late. So all this could
mean companies are asking their employees to work harder and longer with for the same pay?
So all of this could maybe...
You don't say.
Right.
Inconceivable.
This could maybe be balanced if the VFX industry wasn't the only cog in the film industry that didn't have a union or any kind of organized labor whatsoever. So there is no regulation on like hours or budgets or project lengths or schedules or any kind of constraints that any of these people need to follow when they're going. So studios are constantly trying to fight and underbid each other to make less and less and less money to take on more and more and more work and strain their workforce more and more and more because it's just dog eat dog world and there's no regulation whatsoever to control that. So guys, if you
mean businesses underbid on working hours? Inconceivable.
Right. Which is, I mean, that's what's going to happen.
Is that the title of the show?
The problem is we have no checks and balances for a job like this that is not like, hey, how many cars did you assemble today? How many of these things did you build? No. It's like the sky is the wrong shade of cerulean blue. And I'm like, that might actually take a long time to fix because we spent all this time and you approved this look like 3 months ago and did a whole simulation. The sky is the wrong shade of cerulean blue. So then you go and do that for like 5 hours and waste your day. And then you go back and they're like, actually, we decided in a meeting without you there that it's going to be purple instead. You're like, what? And there's a dragon now. And they're like, what's the dragon doing? It's like, we didn't bid for that. You're doing it. Okay. Well, we could just get this to somebody else.
The sky is cerulean blue.
Yes.
One man stands against the VFX industry.
Every dragon.
Oh, yeah. And then here's the last part, the linchpin. These guys go to their fancy Oscar awards and win the thing for best effects and stuff like that. And all they do
that is a true
all
fact.
They do the whole time in Vanity Fair and wherever and E! News say no CG. There's no CG. No, it's all natural. No CG. Dude, there's a fucking 150 to 1,000 person army making your fucking movie. Show some appreciation.
Nice.
Wow. F-bombs.
Pete is on fire.
So there we go. It's a short but sweet segment, so we can get back on track here. But that was what really grinds my balls.
That was the best one yet, Pete.
Let's go.
Wow.
It's fueled
This man
by,
is from Buffalo, and he just dropped 2 F-bombs, folks.
it's fueled by a lot of coffee and
Mother has been teaching him.
Too little sleep.
We'd like to thank one of this week's fake sponsors, Echo Atlas Audiobook Library. Stories that move you and bring thousands of audiobooks to your ears. Echo Atlas. Listen, learn, escape.
Ooh.
All right, everyone, shall we kick off this shindig?
Well,
Hell
yes.
yeah.
Let's do it.
The first topic's the deepest. Baby, I know the first topic's the deepest. Oh, when it comes to being lucky, John's cursed. And when it comes to sounding smart, it's worst.
Burn.
Wow. So not only was that a perfect song for a first topic, but you got to dig in your co-host there.
I had some time.
John's going to have to respond with a song.
Major League Baseball released a pitching injury report last December. Now, this wasn't a truly comprehensive study, as we would have needed years and years of data to fully analyze, but baseball tried its best by interviewing more than 200 people, including pitching coaches, athletic trainers, and former big leaguers. Now, baseball has seen a spike in early season injuries, and while spring training programs have changed, the finger seems to be pointed at high velocity and spin rates. So the average fastball velocity last season was 94.2 miles per hour, which is more than 3 miles per hour faster than it was back in 2008, and dwarfs those in the 80s and 90s when it didn't even top 90 miles an hour.
It seems really
now,
fast.
because pitchers are now putting more strain on their arms in a shorter amount of time, the average start has gone down from 6.1 innings in the 80s and 90s to now 5.2 last season. Now, longtime workhorse Max Scherzer, now on the Toronto Blue Jays, proposed something to counteract this recent trend with what he called the qualified start, which would account for going at least 6 innings, throwing 100 pitches, or giving up at least 4 runs. The consequence of not achieving one of those would result in losing the DH in the batting lineup. So everyone, that was a long intro, has starting pitching changed forever? Or do we see a renaissance of the starter forthcoming? And what do we think of Max Scherzer's idea of a qualified start?
Nah, it's all fucked. I mean,
next topic.
no.
Next topic.
And here's the thing: I literally just had a talk with friend of the show, Steve Mercer, because I went to dinner with him last night, about this. And kids who do travel baseball, who pitch on 3 teams, who go to a pitching coach to teach them how to throw as hard as they can.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're, let's just say you're a 5'10", 14-year-old and you can throw 80 plus, and maybe even you're a lefty, you're all of a sudden incredibly, incredibly, incredibly important. And everyone's really interested in talking to you. And the dads love that, and the kids love that. And kids are getting Tommy John preemptively before they play college ball.
They are. We've talked about that before. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Fucked. It's fucked. And the problem is, you have to throw that hard to be competitive because bat speed is way up. I mean, you can't. I was just thinking about this when I was talking to him last night. There was maybe one guy in the late 90s that threw over 100, and now there's 15.
Yeah, that was a lot.
There's a lot. And I mean, it's not even fast enough. It doesn't even ring the dial. Meanwhile, guys like Greg Maddux didn't throw over 90, and Greg Maddux probably one of the best pitchers that ever played. I just saw a documentary where Acuna Sr. Was like, yeah, Maddux called his own pitches at the end, which is insane when you think about it.
Do you think someone like a Greg Maddux, a Tom Glavine, Jamie Moyer, like those kinds of pitchers would be in the majors today?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I mean, their accuracy was their accuracy and their pitcher's brain. And Jefim could talk to pitcher's brain. Their pitcher's brain was above all, right? They knew how to play the game, and I'm not sure if pitchers really worry about that anymore, or at least all pitchers.
I mean,
there's been so many changes. Oh god.
So yeah, a lot of changes.
Yeah. And maybe it's just a testament to how things have even changed since this. But I remember, didn't the Red Sox finally win their World Series on the back of Tim Wakefield just doing the same crazy ass? I don't know what pitch that was.
Not on the back, but he had a knuckleball.
It was a knuckleball, yeah.
But
it was slow.
Game 3 of the ALCS. Yeah, Game 3 of the ALCS, he essentially did the bullpen a solid by pitching out. I don't remember how many innings it was, but it was a lot. He ended up taking the L, but still, he gave everyone a rest. And so everyone was fresh to kick their asses for 4 straight games.
Coaching has changed. For all the times I've watched baseball, the starting pitcher, it's not even a thought through the 6th inning. Okay, so that World Series game that.
Oh, how about the concept of a bullpen game now?
Garrett Cole was dealing, dealing. I mean, he pretty much put that game on his back before it went to shit, and they took him out way too early, and they always do. They always do.
Well,
and
I'm going to say,
God.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
You're good.
I was going to say I actually like Scherzer's idea. because I mean, I'm a National League guy, so right off the bat,
Doesn't matter anymore. They all have DHs.
I know it doesn't even matter anymore. So a big change. There's been so many changes in baseball. So that's one, right? Let's talk about that. So you got to get 9 outs now, not just 8 like you used to, because it used to be the pitcher had to hit, and most pitchers don't hit well. Also in the 90s, I mean, if you're talking about Greg Maddux, the umpires, you didn't have Quest Tech, you didn't have all these technologies that like really made the umpires create these crazy tight strike zones. They also shrunk the strike zone down from the letters, right to top of the letters to the bottom of the letters.
Used to be top of letters, yeah.
So there's all kinds of changes they've made to make pitching harder. And then, like you said, John, like bat speeds are insane now. I mean, basically, you can get it by a guy and they can foul it off enough to where basically like your best pitches, they just wear you out as a pitcher. It's crazy. There are some cases where if you look, there's still some pitchers that can get it done. Like I was thinking of Quintana on the Mets last year. Quintana doesn't throw higher. I mean, he tops out at 90, and he would just be one of those classic lefties, like you mentioned, Glavine, right? So I think Glavine would do okay still. They kind of eat away at the plate on the edges, and they just entice the batter and basically make them so bored that they end up swinging. That's the way it always looked.
That was Glavine's MO.
Yeah.
Like he stayed on one side of the plate.
Yeah.
And he was almost worse than Mo. Mo, you knew what pitch was coming. Glavine, you didn't necessarily know what pitch was coming, but you knew what side of the plate he was going to go on.
Mo just went higher.
Yeah.
Every now and again, Glavine would sneak, like if you're a right-handed batter, every time he was just sneaking an inside fastball just to keep you honest.
Yep, exactly.
But he stayed on like from the pitcher facing the home plate, the left side of the home plate.
But like you take the New York Yankees as an example. And the New York Yankees, 2 years ago when they...
I should take a drink every time John brings up the Yankees.
Shut up. Garrett Cole won 17 games and won the Cy Young, even though they were bad. But he pitched way too many innings. He blew out his
pitched a lot.
And he's still down. I mean, he came back at the end of last year, but that was just heart and gusto. He just wanted to be back for playoffs, and he played really good.
Oh, yeah. They put him back with duct tape.
Put him back with duct tape. And then, so to cover that last year... Luis Gil, who Rookie of the Year, right? Way too many innings for a rookie. Way too many. And now he's fucked.
And now he's hurt.
That is what happens. It is too hard to pitch. It's too hard.
Yeah. Well, and I do think I really do think the art of pitching has been lost. I do think teams just look at the velocity number. Because, again, there are signs of guys who do use movement, who do use off-speed pitches, and who do get it done. So...
And there's so many more pitches now because you can spin the ball so much faster, and there's like, backdoor slurves and like just crazy fucking things that the ball does.
Yeah, but I do like
being. Go ahead, Jeff. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, but Mark, back to your question. Like, I actually do like his idea. I think forcing teams to have to like give them some penalty for pulling that pitcher in the 4th inning, because that is getting so old. Like, like you said, who wants to watch a bullpen game? I mean, it happened literally today. I watched opening day, right? The pitcher's out after 4 and 2/3 innings, and I was like, this is it. And now I'm watching the bullpen, and it's like, this sucks. I mean, straight up, it's not the same game when you see that.
And then, I mean, when that happens, baseball is a game of attrition. When that happens, then, the game after that, and maybe even the game after that is fucked.
So there's something was interesting in this article that I wrote too, that it's like a pitcher's only going like 4 innings on opening day has a lot to do with the fact that pitchers aren't really developing their arm strength in spring training anymore. They're kind of working on other things, and they might do it like you used to have your first start was like 2 innings, then maybe go 3, and then you keep going longer and longer during spring training. Now everyone just goes like an inning or 2, and then all of a sudden you have opening day. And the NFL has the same issue. You're just not ready for the season. Yeah. You're not ready to go the distance if you're a starting pitcher.
Said the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah. Well, and Mark, just building on that, I think you're touching on another problem with baseball, and it's huge. The season is too long.
It's too many games.
162 games.
It's always been
the postseason.
But now the postseason's way long too. Yeah,
the postseason is way longer now. Now with all the wild card games too, it's just like this there's just no way when you're playing from like essentially. I mean, what do these guys get? Maybe a month or two off. Maybe is it even that long?
I mean, you don't have any time
Is
off
it
in your
is it
professional life.
actually more rounds of playoffs now with these additional wildcard teams, or is it just more
There
teams
used to be
playing?
only one play-in game, and now there's a play-in series, and so there's like a full
Oh, I hate that.
Oh wow.
There's a full week
where-
off, yeah.
week off where the rest of the teams that are in the playoffs don't play.
Yeah.
And those are usually the
Here's
better
another-
teams. Last year was an exception. The better teams actually did make it to the LCS. But the year before that, like the 2 number 1 seeds were gone after
I
the
mean, I would
the
still
division
position
series.
that baseball's not worth watching this year.
You don't know that. There's an evil
shut
empire that's not the Yankees.
No, I do know it. The end is a foregone conclusion. They have a $1 billion pitching staff that
It's
they're
not a
paying.
foregone conclusion. Listen, the Dodgers have spent loads of money in the past. And how many championships have they really won? They've only really won in the last 10 years, 2.
Well, they've also not spent the kind of money they spent last year or this year. This is
Yeah,
a new
last
How
year
many
was
times
ridiculous.
did the Yankees spend all that, the bajillions of dollars? How many times did they win the World Series? It's
lot.
not always the team that spent. No,
a lot of
they didn't
a lot,
actually.
A lot of times.
No, but
For
The
like
Yankees
8 out
never
of, for like
leveraged the
8 out of
franchise,
10
Mark.
years.
All
Yeah,
those
yes.
years that they spent all those money
Yankees.
after the three-peat, like they won 1 title.
right, but Mark, the Yankees never leveraged the franchise. I mean, what the Dodgers did. Come on, I mean, we're talking like 10x.
No, that's true. That's no, I got you. I'm just it's kind of the same concept, but just doing it differently. And we have to move on. We are way over time.
Sing me a
Did
song.
we
Mark,
answer the
Mark.
question?
Oh
No, we did not.
yeah,
we never answered the
No,
questions.
it's fine. What year are we in?
The year is 2004.
2004.
The year 2000.
4.
Next topic has taken its toll on me. She said goodbye too many times before. Next topic is breaking in front of me, and I have no choice, 'cause I won't say goodbye anymore.
Oh.
So, we kind of touched on it, but that's because I got excited. After an impressive offseason of moves by both New York baseball teams, it's safe to say the preseasons have been a bit of a disaster, more for the Yankees than the Mets. For the Yankees, injuries to Garrett Cole, Clark Schmidt, and Luis Gil have destroyed their rotation. Meanwhile, the Mets have lost Sean Manaea and Frankie Montes, leaving them reasonably depleted as well. So with massive offensive changes on both teams, who will be able to bounce back better from losses to the powerhouse Los Angeles Dodgers? And
John, did I really steal your topic? I'm sorry.
like I just said, is it even worthwhile to try this year with their 6-man, star-studded, billion-dollar rotation?
In my defense, when I read this topic, I thought it said something completely different. I must have been so tired when I read that, because I could have sworn it said something else. I mean, it's 100, like we said, it's a 162 game season. So many things can happen in 162 games. Okay, like I swear, there's like 3 different like acts in a baseball season, and they're all kind of like seasons within themselves, right? I mean, you have like the first 2 months, you have the Aprils and the May. You know, everyone thinks that they're going to win the World Series in April and May. And then, you know, reality kind of sets in. And then you get to like the June, July swoon. And then you get August and September where everyone kind of gets a little bit serious. So is it possible that the Dodgers aren't going to, you know, be the evil empire and win the World Series? Of course it's possible. Their entire team could get food poisoning and they're out for like 3 months or something like that, which we may talk about a little later.
Did you know they gave the Dodgers 2 free games? They just, you guys should play in Japan. You have a lot of Japanese players. So the Dodgers are not only...
Well, they face the Cubs too. I mean, I
they're
think
3-0. The Dodgers
I
are
think-
now 3-0.
yeah. I think the Dodgers AAA club could have beaten the Cubs. Let's be honest, the Cubs aren't really that good.
The Cubs are terrible.
The Cubs are terrible. That is true.
Now, to answer your question, I mean, can the Yankees bounce back? Yes, because you know, time they're going to get healthier. Hopefully, I mean, I know Giancarlo Stanton is hurt again. I know you didn't mention him, but he's like perennial hurt.
Yeah,
Well, I wasn't talking about the offense. I think the Yankees' offense is fine. I think it's fine. I
Do
mean,
you?
Yeah, I do. Cody Bellinger is clearly not Juan Soto, even though he struck out today. But Cody Bellinger is a solid ass hitter. I'm going to say it all show, dude.
An ass hitter.
He's a solid ass hitter. Solid. For percentage, he's a much better outfielder. I think he's a very, very good pickup. I think that Paul Goldschmidt...
See, this is the April hype.
Yeah.
Yeah, you feel it? You feel it, Mark?
Everybody feels like they won the offseason.
And he's ready. And I think Paul Goldschmidt's only purpose on the team, besides hitting 25 or 30 home runs and reasonable for average, is to teach Ben Rice how to be a first baseman. I think he's there entirely to mentor Ben Rice. That's why Ben Rice got the DH job, with Stanton being down. I think that Cabrera's ready. I think Volpe is ready. I love that Austin Wells is the guy now. Austin Wells is a beast. Austin Wells reminds me of Thurman Munson. Like, seriously. I mean, I know it's early, but he reminds me of Thurman Munson.
Wow.
He even looks like him a little bit, right?
Do you hear John right now?
I'm so psyched.
He's
so psyched. He won one game. John. He thinks they're going to go undefeated.
Yeah, I'm like, what is going on?
Hey, they're undefeated so far.
161 games left. But here's the thing. I know that the rotation is already... I mean, I have to rely on Marcus Stroman to have a good season for this to work.
The Stro Show, baby.
Listen, where we are.
I mean, if you believe, or if what you believe is actually true, and the Yankees' offense is fine, Stroman can still probably give up 5 runs in 5 innings, and the Yankees will win, right?
Yeah, but the summer's gonna come, and the pitching's gonna fall apart. Like, if the pitching falls apart like it does every summer, where is the Luis?
It did exactly. It did last year, right?
Where is the Luis Gills to save the day? Because that's what happened last year. Gil came in and he went 9-1. You were just like, what the fuck is going on with this kid?
You don't have another Gil in your back pocket somewhere?
June.
At least.
Yeesh.
So, I mean, Rodon will win. I think Rodon has gotten rid of his yips mostly. And Max Fried is a beast. Max Fried will win 15, I think, honestly.
I do like your Max Fried pickup. I really do.
Yeah, that was a good pickup. That was a really good pickup.
Solid.
And I think that's a solid investment.
He's got to stay healthy.
He might get hurt. Yeah, even if I think he might get a little hurt, but as long as he doesn't Chris Sale it up, then he'll be fine.
Now, and let's just not forget about the Mets. The Mets have an incredible offense. I mean, the Mets are terrifying, honestly. Yeah. I'm glad I don't have to play.
Terrifying.
Yes, the Mets are terrifying.
Our lineup is pretty strong. I'll agree there. I think our problem is we do not have any pitching. Like, literally.
Any pitching?
The Yankees, I said it already, the Yankees closer from last year just started opening day.
Oh, no.
That is what just happened for the Mets. A 1 or 2 inning pitcher just started opening day for the Mets. That's where we're at.
Don't the Mets always usually
a
start at least with strong pitching, and then it just they all get hurt as the season goes on?
Your opening day starter is supposed to be your
Mets
best pitcher. It's supposed to be your best pitcher by far. Your number one pitcher.
Yeah.
So are they just all hurt?
Apparently their best pitcher's a closer.
Two of their starters got hurt. And remember, Pete, the Mets spent $860 million on a left fielder.
John is he's just.
I think it's more, John. With inflation, I think it's like over $1 billion now.
Damn.
Look, it's very clear that John is still a little butthurt about losing one.
Hey, listen.
He is, but he's not.
When I saw in the ALCS Juan Soto lick his lips and then hit a home run, I was like, that guy's the fucking man. He was like bottom of the ninth, like World Series in his hands, and you saw it. I said it before it happened, just like that Giants game. I was like, no, he's locked in. He's gonna fucking rail it, and he hit it out. The Yankees won.
You know what's really sad?
That's the kind of shit he does. He typically doesn't strike out in clutch situations.
I know that.
That is just hilarious that he did.
Well, keep in mind, he also went to San Diego to follow the money, and that failed. That failed miserably. You never know. The same thing could happen at Queens.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know.
I think one of the things that helped Juan Soto and Aaron Judge last year is they had each other.
Yeah.
Lineup protection's a big fucking deal.
Yeah, but Soto has a lot of protection around him. He still has the polar bear behind him. He's still got Lindor hitting in front of him. I mean, the Mets have a good lineup.
Well, I think
the issue is going to be the pitching. They do not have a pitcher. They're going to
maybe Juan Soto needs to start pitching. He makes just as much. Help. He makes more than Shohei.
Shohei, that's true. Is Shohei pitching this year?
No,
not yet.
I was going to say, he can do both, right?
But answering your
Yeah,
question, John, I don't. As of today, the Dodgers look unbeatable. That is how they look today. But it's day one of the season. Mark's right. I mean, injuries happen. We'll see what
April
happens.
hype.
I mean, we already see what's going on with Mookie Betts. I mean, some mystery illness that has made him
We're going to talk about that.
pounds.
It's too
fine.
too interesting not to talk about.
So I'm just saying, I don't know. We'll see. You don't know. But right now, if you look at what the Dodgers spend in the lineup they have,
I mean, like,
and the pitching they have,
we're out of time, but let's just talk about it for a second, okay? They have 6, but let's just talk about their top 5. Yamamoto, the ace of the Japan national team. Shohei, who can pitch, but we're not going to talk about that right now because he's not.
Well, you can't include Shohei because he's not going to be pitching. It's definitely not going to be starting this season.
Blake Snell, who is maybe top 3 last year. You don't think
Blake
so?
Snell is a good pitcher. I wouldn't call him top
a good
3.
pitcher. I wouldn't. Yeah, he's not top 3.
I mean, Tyler Glasnow.
Tyler Glasnow is a very.
They went and got the number 2 pitcher from the Japan national team.
Yes, they
Rohei
did.
Sasaki.
They do have the Japanese All-Star team.
Essentially from cheating. They were literally just like, it's okay. We don't have to pay him. He's too young to come. We'll put him in the minors for a month.
I mean,
Was it that long?
yeah. I mean, yes, you can be sure the day that the Super 2 hits. It's in May or something. He will be up 100%.
100%. That guy is a monster.
What are the call-up rules from AAA to majors?
Well,
is there a limit of times you can bring people
whenever you
up,
want?
or?
Specifically, Pete, Sasaki is under a set of rules for Japanese imports because of his age. So he couldn't actually come over this year, but he wanted to. And so they figured out how to essentially put him in the minor leagues, plays a little bit, comes over. Now he's a minor league player, and then they can bring him up whenever they want. So, yeah.
But I think there's an official rule so it doesn't come against his service time. It's called Super 2. I think it kicks off sometime in May.
Yeah.
So he has to there is a certain amount of time he needs to be down. It used to be like late May, early June. So, yeah.
So, and I'm talking about the Japanese All-Star team because they won, by the way. They won the World Baseball Classic. And Ohtani and Yamamoto and Sasaki were all on that team.
Yes. Yeah. It was crazy to see Shohei strike out Mike Trout. That was in that World Baseball Classic. That was crazy.
There was 3 guys who ruined their seasons from that, and they were just like, this is the best thing we've ever done.
I mean, Jesus, they have they're loaded.
I know we're out of time, but with baseball not being in the Olympics anymore, do they need to bring back the World Baseball Classic?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so too.
Well, and
it happens every 4 years, right?
The what?
It's every 4 years.
They haven't done it since 2020. No, it's been a while.
No,
I don't think the World Baseball Classic is a thing anymore.
It's not?
When it last happened, when Ohtani struck out Mike Trout, that was less than 5 years ago.
Right, no, but it's on 2026.
Yeah.
Yeah.
22, 26 every 4 years. Definitely 22.
Okay.
That's what I had to guess.
It happened in 22? I didn't. I thought it was longer than that.
Apparently, it was 23. Oh, because of COVID.
Because of COVID, yeah.
23, yeah. So it was supposed to be 22, and they did it in 23. Thanks, Obama.
All right, time.
Thanks, research. Okay.
The research department. Jefim likes to be part of the research department.
I love the next topic. I love the next topic. I love the next. So going back to the theme of starting pitching.
I was waiting for it.
I know you're all waiting for it. I did longer songs than the other ones, and then I just stopped.
But it just stopped.
I gotta keep you on your toes.
I know.
Gotta keep you on your toes. All right, going back to the theme of starting pitching, the big name in young starters is Paul Skeens. He is not only known for being a pitching phenom, but also dating LSU gymnast and social influencer Liddy Dunn. Recently, it was It was announced that a fan got a Topps Chrome Update MLB debut patch autograph baseball card of Skeens, and the Pirates offered this fan 30 years of season tickets, meet and greet with Skeens, 2 signed jerseys, PNC Park tours, and an invitation to Livy Dunn's private suite at the park for a game. Instead, the fan decided to auction off the card, and the price tag became $1.1 million, which was only surpassed by Mike Trout's rookie card. So everyone, what would you do if you had a Paul Skeens rookie card? Sell it, trade it to the Pirates, or hold on to it?
I mean, am I a big Pirates fan or am I me?
Let's say you are a Pirates fan.
I mean, 30 years of season tickets. Season tickets are expensive. It's impossible to go to a baseball game right now.
Yeah.
I mean,
Agreed.
I would say
Not in Pittsburgh.
1.4. Is that what you said? 1.1?
1.1.
I was maybe close.
Season tickets behind home plate, by the way.
Yeah, oh my God.
That's right. I'm sorry. That's right. It was behind home plate.
How many tickets or just one?
Keep in mind, at Yankee Stadium, those are probably, what, $2,000? But in Pittsburgh, I think...
Minimum.
In Pittsburgh, I think they're $80.
No. No baseball ticket is $80.
I'm pretty sure it's $80 in Pittsburgh.
No, we're StubHubbing that. Research department about that.
It's certainly not as much as Yankee Stadium.
I mean, I don't know. If I was a big Pirates fan, I think that's a hard decision. And really, there's a lot of it's really challenging to sell a high value collectible. Honestly, I found a I think it was $1,500. I found a $1,500 Magic card that I just randomly bought.
Oh yeah, that's pretty
got
cool.
in a pack from '99, and so it's in a case and everything. But I'm just kind of messing around with selling it. It's hard. It has to be graded.
You do have to know people.
Grading is expensive.
Well, there's probably card appraisal or appraisers, right?
You have to not fuck it up when you're getting it graded, and most grading is mail away, so that's stressful.
Ooh.
And then once it's graded, it has to be high graded, so it has a good review, has a good 9 or 10, right? But maybe you get a 7, and then it's fucked anyway, right? And once it's graded and it's fucked, you're not gonna get 30 years of season tickets from it. Tell you what. So I mean, it's a gamble. It's a gamble. I said it's close. It's probably not close. Let's just say $5,000 a ticket, 81 home games. What is that? $400,000. Actually, no, it's way more. You sell those games. You sell those games, the ones you're not going to, you make more than $1 million easy. Never mind. I'm full on.
Really? They're worth that much?
Tickets.
Not in Pittsburgh, man. There's no way.
Yeah, still not in Pittsburgh. Even if you had $100 for a ticket, so times 80 games, what's that? $8,000 times 30 years. I can't do math.
It's still only $240,000.
Thank you.
And you're forgetting the future value. And
then you have 2 signed jerseys.
No, but hold up. Is it 1 ticket or 2 or 4?
It did not.
They didn't actually
sucks.
say. I would imagine it was at least 2.
At least 2 tickets.
I want all my drinks and food and stuff covered too.
So you guys are kind of answering my question. I would hold on to that.
That easily doubles the price.
I would not sell that immediately.
No.
Can you only imagine, especially if Paul Skeens is going to be, let's say he's the next big thing in pitching. Maybe he's going to be the next 300 game winner. Even though he may not, because baseball's not going to have any more 300 games winners. But let's say he is. How much is that rookie card going to be then?
Almost enough to trade for a Klondike bar.
It's you could buy a lot of Klondike bars for that. I mean, it's definitely going to be worth more than 1.1 million.
Nah, guys, I would take the money. I'd take the 1.1
million,
throw it in the market, earn my 7%, and then just what's it, the 3% rule there? Take out my $40,000 a year, and then I can easily afford to go to a Pirates game and have a lot of money.
You wouldn't meet Livy Dunn though.
We'll make the money to go to the Pirates games.
Section 17, which is essentially right behind home plate. Section 17, let's look. Row G. That's not bad. But $374 ticket.
Okay. Yeah, not $5,000. I mean, huge difference.
I swear I looked this up last year. This was, and now keep in mind, this wasn't an April home game. This was when the Pirates were definitely out of it. I swear I saw a ticket behind home plate for $100.
Inflation.
And keep in mind that season tickets are generally a little less than individual ticket
Side note,
sales.
$1.8 million over 30 years. Because math.
Again, 1.1 million now is worth more than 1.8 over 30 years. I'm telling you, man.
Right. You put
I'd
$1.1 million into the stock market.
40 grand a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the S&P
And I'd
is
use that
averaging
40
10% for how many decades?
And I would
10%
definitely
return
not
for
hold
you.
it.
To buy your own season tickets.
The injury
Yeah.
rate of pitchers these days, I don't care how good Paul Skeens is now. I'm sorry. I would not sit on that card. No way. Like he reminds me so much right now of what's his name? Oh my God, the Washington righty.
He just fucking reminds me of what's his face in Eastbound.
Strasburg, right?
Strasburg. Yeah. How many Strasburgs could Strasburg remember? I mean, he came up everyone and he had that lightning first year and then he just was nonstop injured for the rest of his career.
Skeens' motion seems a little bit more natural than Strasburg's, though.
Skeens throws 100 miles an hour. What's the history of guys with 100 miles an hour throwers?
Pitchers get
and he throws
out
a slider as his primary.
Because analytics and microelectronics and the amount of observation that goes into baseball, unless you're like just naturally like very good, like people figure your shit out all the time.
Yeah.
Who is that Japanese guy who had the really crazy motion? Like this like
there was a few of them, but are you thinking of Nomo?
Nomo.
Yeah, he's thinking of Nomo. Yeah.
And no one could hit him the first half of the season. Then he came over from Japan. No one could. And he started the All-Star game. And he did okay. And then by maybe 3 quarters, he was a piece of shit. I mean, like, people figure you out. That's what happens.
Yeah. No, it's I just think there's too much risk. If I was this guy, I would do the same thing. I'd just sell it, which is what the person did, I guess. And
yeah,
I hear what you're saying, John.
He auctioned it off.
I'm not saying it's easy, but I don't know, man. I would take.
I'm curious, Pete. What would your answer be?
Josh Allen rookie card.
Ooh.
We gotta make it make sense. And let's just say for somehow football plays 162 games, 81 at home.
Well, let's equate this to Bills. Yeah,
it'd have to be Josh Allen rookie card after like his first season, though. That's what you have to think about.
No, but his first season was bad. His second season,
exactly.
Okay. So say after his first good season. I don't know.
And as opposed to 30 years of season tickets, the equivalent of that for Bills is probably what, 10?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that is an interesting prospect though, because
it's hard to go to football.
So many
maybe you get to meet Haley Steinfeld.
Maybe.
Definitely. No, I mean you definitely get to meet Haley.
How many? Right, myself included. How many people were like, Josh Allen? What the fuck are the Bills thinking? Like,
you hated him his rookie season.
I did. Well, no, not necessarily during his rookie season.
Dude.
I hated him. I hated that the Bills picked him because I thought I was all smart and that was a dumb move.
Well,
and then I saw him
then you had the Nate Peterman game.
Well, right. Then they're like, Nathan Peterman's going to start. And I'm like, this is just a disaster. It was like already 40-0 Ravens in the first half. And I'm like, all right, can you please bring out this Josh Allen guy and see if he's any good? And I'm watching it. I'm like, I've never seen a human being throw a football like that before. I'm like, okay, he sucks right now but who else can do that? And then I'm like, all right.
The second game he jumped over the dude,
No, the
right?
second game was also bad. I think it was against Green Bay or something. It was not good. And then I'm like, wow, well, they're toast. The Vikings were favored by 21 points. 21-point favorites over the Bills, who were looking at a hot season going into week 3. And that's when Josh Allen jumped over Anthony Barr, who's 6'5", by the way. And had actually a good throwing day, rushed for like 100 yards. And the Bills trounced the Vikings that day.
We're done. But when he dropped that shoulder to get into the end zone this season, and he just like blew that guy up, I was like, this fucking dude.
Oh, the Chiefs game. I was gonna say week 1 he jumped over a dude to get a touchdown and broke his hand. You know, he played the entire season with a broken hand. He literally put like a golf glove on it, and he's like, it's fine.
He was in love. All right, we gotta go.
All right.
Whose turn is it?
I cannot believe you guys would not take $1 million right now.
No, I said I would. No, I would. Actually, you guys.
I wouldn't. I would gamble. I would gamble. Gamble on futures.
Quick addendum about sports cards. I thought I was all hot shit when I was a little kid. When at a trading card like expo, found this O.J. Simpson 1974 Topps number one. It was the number one card in the Topps deck. O.J. Simpson, all-time rushing leader, 2003 yards. I still have the card, thinking, oh man, this is going to be worth so much money someday. Fast forward a couple of years, and well, you all know the rest.
What a great ending.
I had to sneak that one in there. Sorry, John.
All right. I'm here for the next topic, and it's all on my lonely mind. I'm here for the next topic, and I dream about it all the time.
2004.
That's amazing.
2004 was
amazing.
oh my god.
All right.
Ooh, it's
and
gonna
now
get better.
We talked about the other thing that I promised you. So, guys, what's wrong with Mookie Betts? So the 8-time All-Star was forced to miss the 2-game official start to the Dodgers season in Japan last week due to illness. According to a statement he gave this week, he feels fine, has already been working out, and can do everything but eat. Betts has lost an astounding 18 pounds already, with still no explanation as to what's wrong with him. And while he still wants to play, it might be hard for a professional athlete to succeed when he can't eat. So, in a season where he will also be forced to become the Dodgers' permanent shortstop, what do we think is wrong with him?
It's fine. He played today. He batted second.
But like, how much he's lost? What, how many pounds?
18
18
pounds.
pounds.
There were some reports that he lost up to 25 pounds.
Dude,
Yeah, I actually
that's-
saw 25. Yeah.
He looks like a skeleton.
Yeah, that's not good.
And he's not a big guy. He's 5'2".
Not
He's never been a big
guy.
guy.
He's
never been a
so-
big guy.
He doesn't have a lot to lose. I don't know, man.
And I don't know if the timing, like Brett Gardner's son, who unfortunately passed from some wild food poisoning incident in a foreign country. I mean,
in
I don't
Costa
know if it
Rica,
was-
yeah.
In Costa Rica, I don't know if it was related to food. I don't know what and nobody knows what it's related to.
Yeah, and they initially thought that was through asphyxiation, but they ruled that out like immediately, I guess, after the
Gardner?
initial findings. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. I mean, they do know that I think the whole family had food poisoning or something like that, right?
Yeesh.
Yeah, supposedly.
Yeah.
They all got sick, and then unfortunately he passed from it.
I mean, with Mookie, Mookie doesn't like. They don't know what Mookie had. Mookie doesn't know what happened. Like, they don't know if it was food poisoning or what. He couldn't. Yeah, he couldn't keep down solid food. He could still eat liquids for a while, but yeah, he lost somewhere between 18 and 25 pounds in a span of like what, a month? Was it? Actually, it was less than that, I think.
It was 2 weeks. It was 2
2
man.
weeks.
This is nuts.
It's really crazy.
How do you lose?
I mean, that's insane.
So not good. So
That's
not good for
insane.
you.
No, well,
in
now
a
they're saying
serious
Kike
way.
Hernandez is also sick. Same thing, stomach, and he's throwing up and can't keep anything down, and he missed opening day. So
Really?
yeah, I'm going to say it if you guys didn't get it, but the famous booting death from our college days, I got it this year, and this was the worst I've had it since college. It was brutal.
Ooh.
I mean, it took me out for. I was not able to eat correctly for almost 2 weeks.
Do you ever find out
Foot and mouth?
what virus that was, or was it even a virus? Like, wasn't it?
It's the norovirus.
Oh yeah. Yep. Liam's had
Yeah.
that like a bunch.
Yeah.
It's brutal. No, yeah.
But I mean, I don't know what it is. The string this year is really. I mean, you can read it. They're saying
Particularly
it's very
nasty.
bad this year. So I don't know
Okay.
if it's sweeping through the Dodgers and that's what he's got. But
Yikes.
it was really rough.
That
All
would
right,
be
let's go
something,
crazy.
right? That would malnourish.
I don't know.
you.
You would think
Crazy.
if it wasn't a virus, they would be able to diagnose that.
Is a
though.
trainer poisoning?
Even if they can, there's not much you can do about it.
Ooh, John's
Is
going
it
conspiracy theory.
Is it Otani's former translator that's poisoning them?
Oh my God! The
Oh.
Japanese revenge.
Or
thing.
okay, all right. If we're going conspiracy theory, baseball realized that letting the Dodgers do this was too much. They needed to create controversy, so they're secretly
Love it.
poisoning the players to add flavor to the season to
Is
show
this,
the Dodgers
is this like the
being
Matrix?
vulnerable.
Is this like the Matrix? So like the Dodgers are like Neo, so they have to create Agent Smith to counteract them.
I don't know. I mean, seriously though, just like for a minute, like any sort of stomach virus would be cured already. Let's just assume they have the
Yeah,
best doctors
yes.
in Los Angeles, right? And I mean, so like they're not fixing him, and There are a lot of crazies in LA, like a lot.
That's an understatement.
I don't think it's an unreasonable thought that something like underhanded is going on.
Really?
I don't know. I don't.
Sometimes shit happens.
In a world where the Dodgers are
Literally.
the evil empire.
See, it's shit like this that makes me like think it's not a lock that the Dodgers are going to win the World Series, even though their payroll is $1 billion.
It
$1
definitely
billion.
Maybe this super norovirus goes throughout the entire team, and then all of a sudden the Dodgers lose like 20 games in a row.
All right, we're just gonna talk about it for a second. Shohei already has 2 home runs. Teoscar already has 4 RBIs. The team is fucking ridiculous.
The team is ridiculous.
They've only
The
played
team
one
is
game so far?
ridiculous. Yeah.
3 games.
Yeah.
No,
Three,
yeah.
okay.
They faced the Cubs and the Tigers, though.
The Tigers
but-
are excellent. They have Tarek Skubal, man.
Tigers are
was
excellent.
But Will Smith is hitting
Tarek Skubal,
429,
their starting pitcher, he's unbelievable.
and Shohei's hitting 417.
Yeah, I
Team is
guess.
this team is silly.
Jeez.
Skubal gave 4 runs today, looks like.
because he was facing the Dodgers.
Yeah, never mind that.
There's literally no rest in that lineup. I remember all right, so this is what the Dodgers did, right? Last year, watching that World Series, when the Mets lost, I'm watching their lineup and I'm like, there is no rest if you're a pitcher. You are literally facing all-star after all-star. So then after that, last year, this year, they come in and they say, you know what we need? We need to spend more money and get all of the good players. So they went from being ridiculous to just like unfair. That's what happened. And I don't know. If I'm a team facing them, I truly don't know what you do as a starting pitcher.
I'm not sure I agree with that. I'm looking at the lineup they had today. Now, yeah, the top 4, yes, very good. Ohtani, Betts, Teoscar Hernandez. And by the way, Teoscar Hernandez wasn't really a perennial all-star until he got to the Dodgers. And Freddie Freeman, who, is kind of on the way down, but he was the World Series MVP.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
But then you have
Freddie.
Tommy Edman. He doesn't scare me. Will Smith. Max Muncy kind of scares me because,
Max
one out of
Muncy's
every
a good
10.
player.
Yeah, 1 out of every 10 swings, he's going to hit a home run. But that's other than that, he's not going to do anything. Miguel Rojas and Andy Pages. I forget how to pronounce that last name.
Say it
top
again.
4, the top 4 are formidable, but everyone else does not scare me.
Oh, Freddie Freeman scares everyone.
Yeah. And
Shut
He's in the
Fuck
top 4, John. He's in the top 4.
He batted like 9th today or some shit.
I'm more afraid of the Mets top 4, I think.
I am terrorized. I told you, the Mets are also terrifying. I don't want to be in the National League this year. It's bad news. And anyway, we're done. Done.
We'd like to thank another fake sponsor, Sleep Ship Weighted Blankets. Drift into dreamland with Sleep Ship Weighted Blankets. Comfort so cozy, you'll sleep like a legend.
Legend. Wait for it.
All right, ready? I've become so numb, I can feel you there. Become so time for next topic, yeah.
Nice. I was not prepared for that.
Whoa.
That was something.
So the Baseball Hall of Fame, by the way, if you notice a theme with all of my topics today, the Baseball Hall of Fame is one
Yeah,
of the
I'm out
more
of baseball questions.
celebrated shrines to prior athletes. This year's inductees will be former longtime Seattle Mariner Ichiro Suzuki, closer Billy Wagner, and former Yankee great, John CC Sabathia. Some notable players that were not elected were Carlos Beltran, Andrew Jones, Chase Utley, King Felix, Jimmy Rollins, Omar Vizquel, Dustin Pedroia, and former New York Mets greats K-Rod, Francisco Rodriguez, and David Wright. Also left off the ballot were some names linked to steroids, including Alex Rodriguez, Manny Ramirez, and sorry, John, Andy Pettit. Let's also mention those that came off the ballot before, including all-time home run leader Barry Bonds, all-time hits leader Pete Rose, and then there's Roger Clemens, Mark McGwire, and Sammy Sosa. So everyone, what do we think of this year's MLB Hall of Fame inductees, and should baseball writers just get over the past already and include the use of those that use steroids or gambled?
Holy shit, what a message. What a message, right?
Yeah.
keeping A-Rod, fuck A-Rod, but keeping it. I don't know.
Everybody else deserves a shot except for that guy. Fuck that guy.
Fuck A-Rod.
What about Manny? What about Manny?
A-Rod won us the championship, and was that 09 last time we won?
Yeah.
Yeah, the one postseason he showed up.
The one postseason.
Yeah, but he didn't just show up. He carried their team through that postseason.
Well,
he was
through the
ridiculous.
LCS at least.
Yeah.
But I mean, the fact that every steroid user previously has gone off the ballot, that the new steroid users they didn't get let in. I mean, that's a message. This is what we're doing. This is the rules. Pete Rose is gonna die. Pete Rose is gonna die.
Pete Rose is dead.
Fame. Right, he died.
He is
right?
dead, yeah.
Unfortunately, he's dead now, and he's not in the Hall of Fame, and there's nothing that they can do about it.
Keep it. And I guess of all the organizations and all the Hall of Fames, I think that probably it's the one that has the most, I remember randomly driving by the Football Hall of Fame, like, oh, look, it's the Football Hall of Fame. Or like randomly in Ohio, like, oh, look, it's the Basketball Hall of Fame. But everybody knows where the Baseball Hall of Fame is, right?
Yeah. Good old Cooperstown.
Good old Cooperstown.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, they have like an old-fashioned Field of Dreams park. I mean, I know you guys
do.
But like an old-fashioned Field of Dreams park in Cooperstown where they play a ton of Little League games, and it's so cool. The
town itself is so cool. When was the last time you were at the Hall of Fame, John? Do you remember?
12 years, more than 12 years, less than 15.
It's definitely been about that time for me. I remember it was the year that Pedro got inducted.
Oh, that's a good year. Yeah.
I think that was like 10 years ago.
I thought it was an interesting vote this year, not just for the steroid users, but also Carlos Beltran. Like, Beltran is clearly a Hall of Famer, like by almost any stat.
So
look at his
I
stats,
actually listed those players in the order of how many votes they got, excluding the alleged steroid users. But Billy Wagner, this was like, I believe this was his last year of eligibility, or was second to last year. And but is he really a Hall of Famer, Billy Wagner?
No, I do not.
I don't think so
Billy
either.
Wagner
No, I agree. Beltran definitely is.
But Beltran, why he didn't, and it was the controversy, right? The Astros 2016. He was part of the whole, the whole signaling.
Did you hear?
Well, that wasn't 2016. No.
Or
that was
2000. What was it? 18 or it was around that time, right? 17 or.
It was
18?
around that time. Yeah.
And they did it for a few years.
The World Series that he went off though was not the year that.
No. He was a coach.
Yeah.
On that team, and he supposedly had a huge hand in devising the whole scheme.
I mean, it's the same thing. Pete Rose got caught for gambling while he was a manager, right?
Can we recently, now that he's a Yankee, Cody Bellinger, because he's butthurt that they beat them in the World Series, came out against the Astros cheating scandal and talked about all the shit that happened with the Yankees and Altuve stealing the MVP in the ALCS from Aaron Judge, because there's a moment, if you guys don't remember, and I remember very clearly, that Altuve hits that game-winning home run in the ALCS off of.
Oh, and they won't let him tear off his jersey, right? Is that what you're gonna say?
And he goes and he changes. He takes his jersey off. He goes and he changes. He's like, "You just beat Aroldis Chapman, who at that point was the best closer in the league, in the World Series, in the bottom of the ninth, and you took the time to change before your press conference." He's like, "Shut the fuck up. That's not what happened."
Yeah, no, it was. So I guess what I'm saying is I think there were a lot of messages sent this time around. And I don't think Billy Wagner should have gotten in. That said, I was really happy to see Ichiro get in. Oh
yeah, without a doubt, he is a Hall of Famer.
He is a
Hall of Fame.
Too.
And if you include all of his hits in Japan, then he's the all-time hits leader.
Yeah. And also Sabathia. Sabathia, I think he was a great.
I don't think Sabathia is a Hall of Famer. I really don't.
I completely disagree.
Okay, so before we end, let's talk about it. What makes a Hall of Famer?
Oh.
Is it statistics? Is it effect? Is it your team was better with you than without you? Is it memorable wins and starts? What makes a Hall of Famer? And that's why I think, by the way, that Andy Pettitte is a Hall of Famer, because Andy Pettitte was maybe the best left-handed starting pitcher I've ever seen.
Only in the playoffs.
Only in the playoffs. Yeah.
I love that. I love the death stare that he gave with his.
I think it's a combination.
I saw him win 3 playoff games in a 7-game series once. That guy is a beast.
I think it's a combination. I don't think it's one factor. I think you have to have the stats. Yeah. I do think that matters. I also think though there has to be like clear points in your career where you were like the best. And like Sabathia, for example, what was it in? I want to say it was in 2008. He put that Milwaukee team on his back and carried
100%.
them into the World Series. I'm pitching on 3 days rest multiple times. Like I remember that because
You mean
it was
Cleveland?
so ridiculous. No, he was on. He got traded to Milwaukee halfway through the season. Remember?
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah. And that's when right before he went to the Yankees. It was the year before. That's what got him that contract in 09.
Oh, I don't remember that
for
at
the
all.
Yankees.
I remember him on the Indians, now Guardians, and the Yankees. I don't remember him on the Brewers.
And he was like, but he was like unhittable. Like he was ridiculous. And he multiple.
That's
games
1 year. That's 1 year.
I
No, but I'm
if
saying
if
his
you're a Hall
overall
of Famer,
but he has the overall stats. He was great on the Cleveland. He was great on the Yankees. He has the World Series ring. He has the stats. Like he accumulated stats. And there was a clear time where he was the best, like hands down the best pitcher. So in my mind, like he checks all the boxes.
I'm not 100% sure. I mean, when I think of a Hall of Famer, I think of, someone that maybe just changed the game or just had an iconic like moment in the game. I don't think of that with it comes to CC Sabathia. I mean, I think he was a good pitcher. He was a great pitcher. Hall of Fame is completely different. Now, I think King Felix was a much better pitcher than him, and it's amazing that King Felix, not only did he not make the Hall of Fame, but how low his vote total was. And keep in mind, numbers are a thing, but King Felix was on some terrible Mariner teams. And he did win the Cy Young 1 year with a 500 record or in 12 wins or something like that.
But he was ridiculous that year.
He was ridiculous for multiple years.
But King Felix has the problem, I'm going to call it the Johan Santana problem, where he was very good. No, really.
On a bad team.
He was very good early on, and then he trailed off hard. He didn't accumulate stats. But he did, Mark. He fell off a cliff all of a sudden when he turned 31. It was like, look at his stats. It was truly dramatic. It was like, what happened? He couldn't pitch. It was insane.
I mean, also,
and Johan did the same thing.
Just talking about pure stats, I think that Sabathia, one of 20 guys who have pitched over 3,000 strikeouts. I mean, I think the 3,000 strikeout club in general deserves the Hall of Fame. That's an 100%. Incredible 20 starting pitchers ever. Guys like.
I mean, by the numbers, if you're just going to look at numbers, then yes, CC Sabathia probably deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. To me, he doesn't, though. I don't know.
And there
he's probably going to be the last guy to win 250 games.
250 games, 3,000 strikeouts.
Well, I don't know. What's Verlander up to now?
Old.
Verlander's I don't think he's at 250. Now you're making me.
Hey, Mark, sing me a song because we're out of time. I'm Jeff.
I'm looking. We're all looking.
Oh,
262. There you go. I knew. Knew it.
You're right. Damn it, Mark. Damn it. You got
me. Trebek.
Whose turn is it?
It's my turn, but also sing a song.
'Cause I've been locked up way too long in this crazy world. How far is next topic? And I'll just keep on praying, Lord, and just keep talking. How far is next topic?
You tell me.
So I really wanted to do an all baseball episode, but the news schedule of this week really didn't cooperate. And so we're going to talk about the Giants. So I'm not sure Brian Daboll or Joe Sheen are thinking straight anymore. In a must-win season.
Anymore?
Ever, maybe? In a must-win season, everyone believed the clear choice for them in the draft was QB. Marsh, however, has been very busy for them, signing both Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson off of free agency. So after a fiery car wreck in Denver, Wilson, the 10-time championship Pro Bowler, went to Pittsburgh and showed a bit of life, throwing for 2,482 yards, 16 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. So with the signing of a clear Week 1 starting quarterback, what do we believe the plans for the draft are for the New York Giants, the upcoming season, and development for the future? How many games do you think Daboll and Sheen need to win to save their jobs? I asked this question to someone yesterday, and they said they need to make the playoffs, and I think that is ridiculous.
I don't think they need to make the playoffs.
So.
I think they just need to finish ahead of the Cowboys. So how many wins will that take? I think that's going to take at least 7 wins.
Do you feel like the Cowboys are going to regress even further this year? Or was last year just a down year and just kind of a fluke?
Well, the Cowboys have all their money in 3 players.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So
it's something that the Bengals are going to be looking into a little bit later. But I mean, and they're going to have to shell out all this money from Micah Parsons. And if they don't, they're so stupid.
Stop getting distracted. So the idiocy of Joshin aside, right? The Giants are all guns blazing, man.
John just yelled at me.
John's fiery. It's a fiery episode.
We're going to spend 3 fucking minutes on how bad the Cowboys are. We already know that. The Giants are also fucking bad, but like, what the fuck is going on? $100 million.
This is what I think. I think that I'm not 100% sure this is on Dayball. I think this is completely on Joshin. The fact that he is panicking. He just wants to grab all the quarterbacks that he can. I actually still think they're going to draft a quarterback at number 3. Now, it looks like Cam Ward is definitely going to go number 1 to the Titans. It's debatable whether or not Shadur is going to go to the Browns. There's some people that think that Shadur is going to go to the Browns, or they're going to get Travis Hunter. My money is actually on that the Browns are going to get Shadur. So, Jackson Dart is going to be is still available. I don't know why I think this. I think it's because there's just no sense in what the Giants are doing. The next available quarterback, our best available quarterback, will be Jackson Dart at number 3. I think the Giants are going to draft him at number 3.
I think
that we have discussed the Eli Manning connection in Jackson Dart. It's very interesting. It's a very interesting connection. But the way this offseason is going, a 1-year rental in Russell Wilson, I think Pete's right. I think they're going for Arch.
It's the arc for Arch, yo. We're seeing it in full swing.
That's so stupid. You know what? That is stupid. I believe that. I believe you might. That could be the plan, but that's so stupid because you have 1 year. You're playing for 1 year exactly, and we already know what Russ can do. Okay, we know what Jameis can do. We know what Jameis can do as well. And I'm not 100% convinced, by the way, that Russell Wilson's going to be the day 1 starter. I'm really not.
Here's another ridiculous
Probably not, honestly.
Probably one of the most exciting quarterbacks that was on free agency in Jameis Winston. Probably made Malik Neighbors his fucking day.
Well, yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna catch for 3,000 yards.
Yes.
I'm gonna have the best receiving season ever because he's just a sling it and pray guy.
He's gonna throw it to Neighbors like 50 times a game.
Oh yeah, of course.
Imagine if they go and get Hunter, right? And they already built up the secondary. Hunter doesn't have to play corner, and he's just a 1A.
I mean, he's gonna
be probably the
not
2
play.
best receivers together.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I think Hunter's gonna. I think if the first year Hunter is going to play both sides.
You
probably.
Really think so?
It's going to depend on what team he's on. I think it's going to depend on what team he's on. That's going to dictate which he's going to play more.
Well, if the Giants pull him, they don't need anybody.
If the Giants pull him,
$100 million on it.
I think you're right about that. If the Giants draft him, then he'll probably play more wide receiver than corner. But if he goes all the way down to 4 and he's on the Patriots, and the Patriots, actually, I'm sorry, the Patriots will probably do the same exact thing. He'll probably play him more wide receiver.
Yeah,
but if he goes to the Browns, which potentially could be a thing, then he's probably going to play more secondary on the Browns than wide receiver.
Well, and I think that the Patriots are marked for Abdul Carter, which you desperately need. I think that both the Giants and the Patriots are going to pick best available.
I would rather, believe it or not, this is not a very sexy pick. I would have them pick an offensive tackle at number 4, regardless. I don't care if Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter falls to them. I want a left tackle. I want a starting left tackle.
Yeah,
that's John. Great move for building a team.
Protect Drake.
Yep.
Answering your question, John, I actually do think they. I don't know, for them to both keep their jobs and throwing this kind of money around, I don't know, man. I feel like they got to make the playoffs. I actually do agree with what the person said. I don't think it's just a winning season. I'm being, and it's not going to happen. To be clear, I'm not saying it's going to happen.
Of course not.
Right. But these moves seem to be out of desperation, so that does kind of play into that.
I think the only reason why they both still have. I think the only reason why they both still have a job is because Mara said something that he shouldn't have, and that he wasn't going to fire them like so early, whatever like that. And then he had to like stick to his word, or he wanted to seem better than his word, so he kept them on for another year. He was too proud to actually do the right thing and fire them.
Yeah. No, I agree. It was a miserable season last year, and I still cannot believe the money they threw at Daniel Jones. From when it happened, I thought that was ridiculous.
Still,
like,
hey,
no. The fact that they drafted him at 6.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly.
And then they didn't renew it. They didn't renew the deal. They didn't pick up that 5th-year option, so they decided to $40 million a year.
And that's the problem, right? This is the same crew that did that. So I'm sitting here like
same exact crew. How do you trust their judgment?
I'm not going to be surprised if Aaron Rodgers doesn't end up on the Giants at this point.
They're just going to grab all the free agent quarterbacks.
One of these,
Kirk Cousins,
all the washed
Kirk Cousins, bring on Kirk Cousins too.
Bring them all. One of them will make it. Surely.
Maybe if we make them into like a Voltron style quarterback and we put them all together.
Yeah, they'll just take the best parts of all the free agent quarterbacks.
They walk out there and they're like, that looks like Jameis Winston's arm with like Rodgers' brain and Russell Wilson's legs, and they're like, what the hell?
I don't know if I want Rodgers' brain.
Okay, yeah, maybe not that anymore.
Yeah,
he doesn't add anything to the picture anymore.
No, he doesn't.
To be honest,
anymore.
I think the Steelers are tanking.
Cockiness, maybe.
What they're doing.
You need some of that as quarterback. He's got that in spades still.
Is Tomlin just testing himself to try to?
No. What else are the Steelers going to do?
They could have signed Justin Fields. They screwed up big time on Justin Fields.
Yeah,
that was a huge mistake.
Yeah,
maybe.
I think that was the mistake the Steelers.
Justin Fields is gonna maybe fix the Jets.
I don't think I like Justin Fields on the Steelers. I actually like him on the Jets. I'm not gonna lie. I actually do like him on the Jets.
I'm telling you,
it's the Jets.
I know.
Okay,
it's
the starting quarterback with their favorite receiver from college is a proven thing.
Exactly.
He gets Garrett back, and Garrett Wilson is a fucking dog.
He is great. Yes,
he's a dog.
But
Winston,
the Jets.
Winston hasn't proven yet that he can really.
You're right. It is the Jets.
Sling it.
Guys,
he can
they'll
run.
do something brilliant. They'll do something brilliant, like their new GM.
Yeah.
No,
Jameis Winston is a slinger.
Winston. Yeah.
It's a new regime, though. Aaron Glenn is the head coach.
Oh, Jameis Winston. I'm sorry. I was mixed up with Justin Fields. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, Winston can sling it. Fields, I'm not 100% sure of. Like, he's got the legs, he's got the attitude, he's got all that stuff. I don't think as a pure passer he's quite good enough, and that's why he hasn't stuck.
Right. I'm calling you guys out because what was it? A season or two ago, you guys. The number of times you mentioned Justin Fields and going to be his year on the Bears, and then
I will always root for him.
You guys were like, "Oh my god, all in on that."
He should have been good on the Bears, but Eberflus was horrible.
Okay, in my defense, that was more John and Mark than me, but I was always rooting for him because I like Fields.
Cool
he's a very likable guy. I really want him to do well. I just don't know if he
needs
quite
a good coach.
I would like him to be on the show one day.
He needs a good coach.
But Mark, what the Jets will do is they'll start to get a really good plan. They'll get some decent coaching in there, and then the owner will do what he always does, interfere, and he'll say, "Hey, we've got Justin Fields now. Let's trade the entire offensive line for something else." And it's like,
right?
What are you doing?
Hey, we got you this excellent running back. And you're like, what the fuck?
It depends on what his kids are.
Why can't Garrett Wilson just throw touchdowns to himself?
Yeah, he might have to at some point.
Did you guys like my Woody Johnson impersonation?
Was really
that was solid. That was really.
And
good.
we didn't even talk about his kids in Madden at all.
Oh yeah.
All right. Last song, and this is the one that Pete, your wife, is gonna love. Ready?
Okay.
And I had to rehearse this one because the timing of it is weird, and now that I've been drinking, it might be even weirder. Anyway. Oh, it seems like I can finally talk about something. Oh, I messed it up already.
No.
Let me try it again. You guys know the song?
Do it.
Do you know the song?
No, don't. Yes, of course.
All right.
All the pieces of me by Ashley
it seems
Simpson.
like I can finally talk about. Oh
No,
my God!
Mark.
I had this rehearsal.
Oh,
Hold on.
Steph's gonna be so disappointed.
Like I can finally
She wouldn't even hear
Seems
it.
like I can finally
So listen
lay
to
my
talk
head on
up
something real.
real. Okay. Oh, it seems like I can finally talk about something so real. I like the way it feels. Oh, it's as if you know me better than I never knew myself. I love how John can tell. It's next topic, next topic from me. It's next topic from me. I messed that up.
So
That's okay.
sexy.
I had it down. During
Oh, man.
rehearsals, but
She
I
will
forgot how
appreciate
it
the
goes
effort
down.
for sure. Dude, by the way, there's a great list of songs from 2004. I'm looking at this. You had anything from Green Day's album that year, The Killers debuted,
American
Velvet
Idiot.
Revolver.
You know, I looked at the top songs, and it's all like
Jimmy Eat World.
Usher, Beyonce, and Alicia Keys.
Really? I mean, there's so like.
Well, he's
so
looking
many-
at the pop tracks.
Oh, pop
and
I was
track,
looking
yeah.
at the top. I was looking at the top tracks.
Dude, Vertigo by
of
U2.
2004.
That was 2004.
Yeah, we did that one already, though.
Oh, well, yeah.
All right.
Anyway.
So the Cleveland Guardians gave their manager, Terry Francona, a wondrous send-off at the end of the 2023 season. He managed that team for 11 seasons and took them to the playoffs 6 times. He retired at the end of that season due to health concerns. Or so we thought. So last October, Tito signed a 3-year deal with the Cincinnati Reds. Now, this team has a lot of young talent, including the oft-mentioned on this podcast, Ellie De La Cruz, and big-time starter Hunter Green. And they could use a big lift from someone, as they haven't been in the playoffs after a full season since 2013. Yes, I do know they made the playoffs in 2020, but that was a shortened season. So everyone, what do we think of Tito Francona managing again? And is he the missing link to bring the Reds to the playoffs?
Maybe. I mean, the curse of the small market is real.
He did it with the Indians / Guardians.
I think the Reds are loaded. I agree with you, Mark, and I will never root against. I think Terry Francona is one of the best managers in baseball.
Yeah.
So I will never root against him. I am surprised he's back. I agree, because
Yeah.
I mean, his health. He was having a lot of health
He
problems
was,
at the end.
yeah.
Of his Guardians
23
career,
and
so-
22. He missed a lot of games.
Yeah. So but that said, I mean, yeah, they've got the pitching. They've got a lineup. I don't know. I could see them doing well this year. And they're in the NL Central, which sucks. So
Yeah, anyone can win the NL Central.
Yeah, I mean,
I think the Albany Awesomes could win the NL Central.
that's
We were
probably
fucking
true.
Great. Fucking great.
That's what you know what? The next episode we do, we have to wear those jerseys, I think.
I know exactly where it is. And yes.
I don't think I have mine anymore. I don't know.
Oh, boo.
I'm like college skinny now, man. I can wear all my old shit.
Awesome.
Yeah. What can I?
Incredible shrinking, John.
To be honest, I don't know. There are so many problems when it comes, but the thing about that team, which you've talked about a ton, is it's close to being ready already.
Yeah.
So, that being said, nobody's going to beat the Dodgers. So,
But all I'm asking is for them to make the playoffs.
Yeah, he's saying playoffs. Yeah.
sure. Yes.
Who is going to?
agree.
I mean, who's going to beat
If
them
you're
in the
asking-
NL Central?
That's what I was going to say. If you're asking me, like, there isn't a better team in the NL Central. The Pirates suck. I mean, I appreciate that they have Skeens, but, you know, Skeens can't pitch every single game. So
He can try.
I don't. That's true.
They can. Maybe the Pirates are working on cloning Paul Skeens.
Maybe.
What about the Cards?
The Cardinals are probably the only team that, like, I think they're just a
Maybe.
well-managed franchise, but they don't have a lot of talent, so I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
Do you want to know how many wins are in the NL Central right now?
Oh, God.
1?
1.
I was going to say, yeah.
Cardinals.
Is it the Car? Yeah, I was gonna say it's
Yeah.
Cardinals.
So
I
probably
mean,
just
the
Cardinals and them.
Brewers maybe like they're always like
The
sneaky
NL
good,
Central
even though
is 1 in 5.
I don't know if I can name one player on the Brewers.
guys, it's
Is
the
Kristen
first day of the
Yelich still
season.
on the Brewers?
Yeah,
I think that's the only Brewer I might be able to name.
it was one of the worst divisions in baseball last year. I can't see. it
It's
getting
usually
a
the
whole lot
worst division in baseball.
better. Well, I don't know. I mean, the AL Central was pretty freaking bad last year.
Oh, Nestor
Well-
Cortez is a Brewer now. Oh, sorry, Nestor.
Oh, poor Nestor.
Oh, I did see something funny. The Chicago White Sox, this is the first time they've been above 500 since like 2023.
I mean, you're
it's been like
forgetting
18 months.
Didn't the Twins last year get it on an almost losing record? I think it was barely over 500. Like, and that was the AL Central. So, but the NL Central is pretty bad. And honestly, the Reds are a good team. I really could see them play. I think what's interesting is they're a young team too.
They're very young.
Yeah,
we've discussed this, but the goal of the new wild card is to get those 80-game winners in. I mean, you used to not be able to make the playoffs unless you won 92 plus, right? And now you can make the playoffs at 82, right? 85. And there's something to be said for the new playoffs, and I think that baseball in general wants to see more cities and more small market teams involved because they want to make more money.
Well, I don't know. I don't think baseball wants to see more small market teams.
But they want to see 80-game winners in the playoffs, and that's typically what.
No, they want to make more money. I don't think they care about where the teams play. Because keep in mind, all the playoff games are nationally televised games. Does it really matter to baseball where they're being played if they're nationally televised games?
Well, they need more fan bases. Like two teams from New York sucks. 2 teams from California sucks.
They should give a little bit more incentive to small market teams, right?
Yeah, I agree.
I have always thought about this. It's like have the revenue sharing be relevant to or relative to where you finished in the season. That way, you have those small market teams that don't necessarily care about winning; they just care about profits. Well, now you're getting a little less shared revenue from Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
Well, the bottom line, when the Dodgers are spending $1 billion, I do not know how you can compete in a small market as a small market team. If you're lucky, you'll get.
You give them norovirus. That's how you can.
Okay, that's true.
Yeah,
that's
there
true.
you go.
Scoop here first.
I know the question was on the Reds. I think the Reds are a good team. I'm excited to see Tito back in baseball. I think he has a chance, especially with a young roster, to do well. He did really well with the Guardians, and he had a number of young players there. Another small market, very similar situation. Yeah. So,
do you think Francisco Lindor would be as big as he was had it not been for Tito Francona?
No question. No question about it. And
I mean, he's a really good player, but he probably didn't. He maybe not deserve that contract, but you know.
We are out of time and out of baseball questions, but what do you guys think about the Devil Rays playing in George Steinbrenner Field for the whole season?
That's funny.
I mean, it's funny.
Well, they can't play in the Trop.
There's another one. There's another.
Well, they could.
There's another pro team that is playing in a minor league ballpark, and I just don't remember which one for the whole season. But
what are you
it's the A's because they don't have a home right now.
Because the A's don't have a home.
They're not playing in Oakland, and the Las Vegas stadium isn't ready yet, so they're playing in Sacramento.
The Devil Rays are playing in minor league parks, and the Devil Rays.
Take that, research department.
Check this out. The Devil Rays are spending this week.
Stop calling them the Devil Rays. They're the Rays.
They're the Devil Rays always. Renovating Steinbrenner Field, putting in Rays gear and insignias and whatever, and then the agreement has them re-renovating it to Yankees minor league stadium or spring training stadium.
Well, I don't understand why they don't play on their spring training field because they're going to attract just as many fans.
Yeah, sadly.
Or move them to Montreal like they kind of wanted to last year.
I don't know. Baseball is so there's so much juju in baseball and
But nobody cares about baseball in Tampa.
But
at least about the Rays.
But part of the problem is the Rays field is in a terrible spot down there.
Oh yeah, St.
Tropicana
Pete.
Field is in the middle of nowhere in St. Pete. It's not even near the good part of St. Pete. So it's in this crappy part of St. Pete. It's hard to get to. It's hard even driving around it and trying to get into it. It's hard. And I don't know. I actually didn't think the field itself was that bad. I've been in it a couple times and I'm like, oh, all right. It's just obviously the dome.
Clearly you haven't fielded a pop fly in that building.
Well,
did you find out if Matt was inside of it when it was collapsing?
Oh no, he was not inside of it when it was. Yeah.
Oh jeez.
Yeah. My brother's a police officer and was on call when the hurricane hit.
So wild.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Hey Mark, do you know what time it is? Stop drinking.
Oh, bad timing.
I wasn't looking.
He's like.
It's the final topic.
Wait.
So, wait, for what? Amazing. Amazing. All right. So, as any good journalist, we have to cover the biggest news of the week. I'm sorry, it's not about sports or pop culture at all.
Let's get political.
In what seems to be a massive national security breach and politic bro fuck up.
According to the Republicans.
Secret
Right. Yeah,
U.S.
it's fine
war
when they do it.
plans against terrorist Houthi militia in Yemen were shared by senior federal officials in a Signal group chat, which accidentally included a journalist for The Atlantic, who happens to be the editor-in-chief. After a significant amount of posturing and spinning by the Trump administration when the news was broken by The Atlantic regarding the non-classified nature of the information, The Atlantic decided they were fucking around, so they should probably find out, and they released the thread in its entirety and let the people of America decide on its nature. So this massive fuck-up not only speaks to the nature of caution of this administration or their lack of understanding of the rules, but celebrating an act of war with a fist bump emoji honestly makes me physically ill. So, my questions, there's so many questions. Is the world too blind with apathy on this, or will something actually come of it? And who do you think becomes the scapegoat? Hegseth, Gabbard, or someone else?
But her emails.
Yeah, I know.
Yes, Hillary is a scapegoat. Hillary is a scapegoat.
Yeah, no, they're going to blame
or
this.
Hunter Biden's laptop.
Or blame it on Obama. That seems to be what they always do.
Thanks, Obama.
Thanks, Obama.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Pete.
though,
I know you want to
so-
rant on this, Pete.
This
Go
is
ahead.
so fucking important to talk about.
I know.
We have to talk about it.
John, I'm just not. So I don't think there's apathy. I think a lot of people care, and still nothing is going to happen.
You don't think anything's going to happen?
No, nothing's going to
I think
happen.
someone needs
The
to
Democrats
burn.
are just going to sit there and roll over and be like, okay, whatever, and then they're just going to do whatever the fuck
With
they
their-
want, because that seems
with
to
their
be
stupid fuck-
what's happened
their
so
stupid
far.
fucking signs. Well, here are the problems I have. There's so many problems, but here are the problems I have. A, they're using a commercially available app that was publicly hacked by the Russians to talk about war deployment. So you know that this one that
Maybe.
happened to have the Secretary of Defense and the VP
John,
got leaked.
maybe that's on purpose. They are just Russian assets. Sit back and enjoy.
I mean, maybe, but okay.
Come
So,
on.
The top of this thread has them deleting this after 7 days. Already illegal. They have a third party in it already breaking the Espionage Act. Already illegal. They lied under oath, which is why I think Gabbard might burn, because they put her up first and they made her lie, and now she's caught. She got caught today. She was just like was backpedaling. She didn't know what to do.
Okay, but what happens when, right, these are deemed illegal and the courts basically give their rulings, and then Trump and these assholes are just like, okay, so we're just going to ignore that.
No, that's why I think Tulsi Gabbard's going to go down for it.
Ooh,
because
but
she's a
who's
woman.
going to enforce it?
The Democrats, they will be happy with
Do
that
they have an
small
army?
win. They will be happy with
They
that
don't have an
small
army.
win. That
We-
small win will appease them, and the fucking bro pack doesn't give a shit about her.
No, they don't.
Right?
Yeah, so I guess they could use that, but it's like, this
And
is what worries
someone
me
needs
is
to
that,
burn. Someone does.
right, for the first time, though, that I know of in the United States, checks and balances are challenged, and there's no retort. There's no actual real
You know why?
enforcement.
why?
Because there hasn't been a need for
What
that.
party is controlling the executive, Senate, Council? I'm sorry, Congress, and the Supreme Court.
Well,
the
yeah.
same party controls all four right now.
Yeah, that's definitely part of it. But even so, I still feel like, but even that party, like in the judicial
Oh my God.
system that has ruled against them, they just ignore the verdicts.
I saw on Twitter
So,
today
what?
Twitter
So
that Elon Musk is offering $1 million to people to sign the petition against the Wisconsin judges.
so
What?
stupid.
What?
I don't know,
How is
man.
this?
As
the
you
world
said
in
multiple
which we
times,
live?
John, this is the darkest timeline.
No, it's so
Yeah.
much more than that right now.
and I'm sorry, Tulsi Gabbard. While listen, I don't think she's going to be the scapegoat. I don't think anyone's going to see any consequences of this.
That was kind of my
And
first impression too, Mark.
No,
And the
it's gonna-
fact that they were using Signal, right? That's what the app is called, was Signal.
Yes.
It
I
is
forget.
Signal. I'm shaking my head and saying yes.
So they were advised to not use it because of how unsecure it was, but they're not the only ones using it.
Right. I've heard this is right. A few administrations have been using this. So
Listen, if you look into process, right? Businesses do things in one single way. It's really hard to get into a skiff, even though they have these special rooms to go and talk about these special things. It's really difficult, and people would rather do shit on their phone. But the fact that they're using it means they use it as a business practice.
Mm-hmm.
This is not the only time they've used Signal to talk about classified information.
oh hell no! Right. This is the first time they got caught.
This is just the first time they got caught. So
Yeah.
another question is how? Like Hegseth is talking about Goldberg, and he's saying, oh, he's this sensationalist journalist, and he's spin, posture.
Well, he keeps saying how there was no classified information that was shared either, but I don't know.
Well,
it
they
sounds
say
pretty
that,
classified
and then they're
when
like,
you look at
okay,
the transcript.
Right. So they're like, there's no classified information. And then they, I forget who it was who was grilling him in the hearing, but they were like, okay, so tell us what was in it. And they're like, well,
No,
can't
he was
tell you
never
what was
in a
it.
congressional hearing. He was just being like
Who was
at
interrogating
press
him?
conferences and whatnot.
Okay.
That was the initial Tulsi Gabbard interview about it, where she was saying there's no classified information. They're like, okay, then tell us. And they're saying there's no classified information.
It's
They can tell us.
sensitive.
And this is the thing. If every senior official says the data is not classified, the Atlantic was like, all right, we'll just publish it.
Yeah, I was going to say, didn't the Atlantic just put it out there? Because like,
Yeah, they just
according
published
to
it.
you,
That's
it's
exactly
fine.
what he did. That's exactly what he did.
So here you go.
No, guys.
Jefim has so much to say. He's being so quiet.
I know. He's being so quiet, Jefim. Come on.
I actually, I don't know. I made that joke at the beginning because that's where we're at. He literally
so out
won.
there.
He won in 2016 because Comey thought because Hillary Clinton was using a private email server
Mhm.
that was enough to basically announce 2 months before an election, which probably, for all intents purposes, threw the election to him. That's like where we are. And now this is worse, arguably.
Much worse.
Much worse.
This is way worse.
And like, I agree. I don't think much. I would be surprised if anything happened here. The only reason someone might lose their job is because the Republicans are also upset right now.
Yeah.
Some
That's
of
the
them.
only reason.
I don't see anyone losing their job.
And-
I don't see anyone
but
losing their job.
but yeah, honestly,
They
I feel
fall
really
in line
cynical
though,
about
just
this
like the
right
little
now.
sheep they are.
The only way
dare-
someone's going to lose their job over this, I think, is if someone actually does hack one of these group chats.
Yeah.
I mean, Signal's already been hacked.
Hey, so
Yeah,
This
Signal's-
is already
Signal's
facts.
been
I know,
hacked.
already.
Right.
Signal's
These
been
are already facts.
hey,
And Signal, by the way, Signal got hacked because the Russians wanted to look up troop movements because they knew this is already fucking happening.
Yeah. So
This is
And
insane.
I don't know.
there are
It's an
many,
embarrassment.
like a significant amount of military families that are pissed off about this, like mad. And it's because there is a moment where these F-18 pilots in every one of these deployments are at risk.
Well-
if someone knows where they're going to be, they just blow them the fuck up.
I'd be scared shitless if
Right.
I was a pilot on a mission like that. I mean, those people, I mean, yes, granted, it's a special type of like steeled kind of temperament to be a fighter pilot, but still, you got to be a little bit scared when you're up there. And knowing now that your position, your plans are compromised and everyone knows
Yeah.
about it, it's like, shit. I'm a sitting
You know,
target up here.
I will say this. I think one of the there was some kind of positive thing that came out of this is the fact that we learned that Mike Walt's brother-in-law is the lead singer of Creed, Scott Stapp.
Wait, what?
That is a truth fact. That is a truth fact.
Wait, what?
Mike Waltz is the national security advisor who was in charge or who created this group chat.
So you
Yes.
might say, this
brother-in-law
text
is
is
Scott
wide
Stapp.
open.
Oh, his brother-in-law.
His
Okay,
brother-in-law
okay.
is Scott
Okay.
Stapp.
It's so
Looks
bad.
like we just got hacked.
All right, somebody say something smart before we end the show, please.
No,
for the love
but
of Christ.
No,
What,
I
that's
wish
not
I
smart. That's not smart.
I wish, John, I wish I could, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's really sad. We're in such a sad state right now. And honestly, what the crazy part is Trump, as usual, the one who put all of these idiots in place and has remade the government and is doing all of this. No one's talking about Trump. They're talking about his idiot advisors. And I'm sitting here like, once again, why? Like, how this guy is Teflon freaking done. Like, nothing sticks to this guy.
No, I know. I don't
These are the
understand it.
idiots he
Well, he doesn't know
appointed.
anything about it, Jefim. He didn't. Know
Oh, I'm
anything
sure he
about it.
doesn't.
Right.
He never knows anything.
Meanwhile,
about
they
it.
probably see he's like on the text thread.
It's just so ridiculous now.
They probably thought
it's a
it was
joke.
his number and
It's a
not the
Maybe.
guy from the Atlantic.
That's
So,
what
I don't
happened.
know, John. I want to say something intelligent, but I'm sitting here like I don't know.
I mean,
I truly
are we
don't.
concerned
We're all
about-
fucked.
The
We're
problem
all
is-
I'm
fucked.
concerned about J.D. Vance's attitude because in this thread and in multiple other things, man, he thinks he's the president.
Oh no, his idea. Well, I mean, he's definitely not. Elon is, but I mean, his ideology scares me almost more than
There's-
Trump because at least Trump is just a chaotic asshole who only cares about himself. Like that's terrible.
You know,
But
my
Vance
my
is
one
much more
hope.
calculating. I feel like, and would be the much more like cerebral villain in this case.
I mean, Vance, whatever. Honestly, my one hope. All right, I'll give you some hope here.
Mhm.
My one hope, actually, in the last few weeks, like that our voices matter, is watching as Elon Musk's company Tesla is being destroyed.
Yeah.
No one's buying his cars.
That's
no one wants to
worldwide
buy
too.
his
That's
cars.
not just the U.S.
They're
People are
literally
burning his cars.
Oh, yeah.
people are burning his cars, and not even just that. He literally has to ask Donald
we
Trump
don't condone
to
that, by the
pedal.
way.
He has to ask Donald Trump to peddle his vehicles to try and sell them to people, right wingers, who are literally the guys who are icing them. This thing where like diesel trucks like park in
Oh,
front
yeah.
of the Chargers and roll coal on them. I'm sitting there like, you know what? This is pathetic, and at least we're having an effect because it is affecting him. That is the one hope I have out of this whole situation is that, hey, you can get to these guys through their money. That's
Yeah.
what you have to do.
That is a good point. When their wallets actually finally get affected, they're gonna realize,
$273 a share, going down every day.
Yep.
Thank you.
I've heard
Please continue,
the
everybody,
Tesla,
to not buy
the
these
Tesla
cars.
chainsaw massacre. I think that's my favorite.
What's that? Yeah.
Tesla chainsaw massacre.
But I think the hardest part, though, is the amount of damage they're doing right now. Even if things do turn around, even if in 2 years, like the midterms happen, a lot of this damage is already going to be done. It's
is.
going to be really hard to fix it.
Will there even be an election in 2 years?
I was going to say, what do you mean if the midterms happen?
Yeah.
Are we not having midterms in 2 years?
There's a high possibility.
What do you know, Jefim? What do you know?
Look,
Wow.
the biggest problem is the opposing party is basically just Republican light. So they're not really going to oppose anything because they're like, oh, this is good for my wallet, so I'm fine with it. They won't say that in public, but most of them behave that way. There's like 3 Democrats, and one of them isn't even a Democrat, that actually give a fuck and want to fight for us, like the working class people that built this country. And unfortunately, that's not enough. That's nowhere near enough to fight this. Like, you have some great rallies with Bernie and AOC and stuff, but then they're not even allowed to lead the parties. They're
Yeah,
just
and they're millionaires themselves. I don't feel like they represent me.
more than any of these other
Why
people.
are we ending on such a downer?
I can't believe John brought up the
Okay.
freaking political one. Why'd you have to do that, John? Jeez.
Mark, at least they represent policies that would
Journalism,
directly help
baby.
us. And they're some of the only ones that would.
I don't necessarily agree with that,
But John, I will just say that honestly, I'd love to see Tulsi Gabbard go down for this because she is a turncoat. She literally went from Democrat to independent
literally,
to
yeah.
Republican. Like honestly, at
Because
this
she doesn't
point,
give a shit
I
what
had
she
some
is. She
respect.
doesn't-
Yeah,
she wants to
is
be
a
liked.
classic politician. Yeah, like so.
Well,
All right.
I think the calculation of putting her up first, forcing her to lie, knowing she was going to get caught is all on purpose. I think they knew this was happening. They laid her out to dry. And I think she's going to get fired
Interesting.
or maybe killed. Who knows?
Whoa!
Oh,
Whoa!
jeez.
Whoa.
That is not
John.
the.
This really is the darkest timeline
Wow.
now. So that has been our topics.
Hey,
We'll be
Mark's
back
ending
next
the
week.
show.
go.
We will be back with our friend Eric Posh next week. In the meantime, you can catch up on our
Damn.
old episodes on our YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/@iftheseballspod. And don't forget to subscribe to us by tickling that little bell.
Tickle.
We, we would like to thank our guests for joining us this week. Thank you, Jefim.
Thanks, Jefim.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks, guys. Let's do another topic. Let's not end on that.
You can also follow or
sorry.
like us on our socials at @IfTheseBallsPod on X, Instagram, Facebook, Threads, TikTok, and Blue Sky. Our website is www.iftheseballscouldtalkpod.com. This is Mark Pesci, and for my partner John Companion and producer Pete Steffen, that's what we feel they would say if these balls could talk. Bye,
Good night, everybody.
Night, everybody. Till next time.
116.
Come on, that wasn't.